Rafael Nadal's legacy in the pantheon of tennis legends is undeniable. But one intriguing question remains. Just how dominant was peak Nadal? Though Nadal's breakthrough came on the clay courts of Europe, he soon established himself as a key player on all three surfaces. From 2005 onwards, Nadal's dominance on clay became a key feature of his career, culminating in the greatest single-surface run the sport has ever seen. However, it was his sustained success across multiple surfaces in the following years that elevated his game to new heights, defining the period many now consider to be his peak. At the core of Nadal's peak years was an unprecedented level of consistency and dominance. From 2008 to 2013, he truly revolutionized tennis, and especially transformed what clay court tennis is. He got crowned the king of clay quite early into this stretch, and it wasn't a hyperbole at all. During his peak, Nadal won 5 out of the 6 Roland Garros titles, won 12 Masters on clay out of a total of 18 tournaments, and had a win percentage over 95% despite having played more than 150 matches. It was the stuff of dreams, something tennis had never seen before, and most probably won't ever see again. During his peak, Nadal won at least 2 big titles on clay every single year. His statistical magnum opus on clay would be 2010, where he would win all 3 master tournaments and Roland Garros, dropping only 2 sets along the way. This achievement would be later named the Nadal Slam.
There's a new man at the head of men's tennis, Rafael Nadal.
6-7, 6-7, 9-7.
The soundbite that changed the game forever. Entering 2008, Nadal had already established himself as one of the top 2 players in the world. He had reached multiple Wimbledon finals and won master titles on both indoor and outdoor hard courts, but it was that match in Wimbledon that announced the inception of the peak of Nadal to the world. A place where he would stay until the end of 2013. What often gets overshadowed by this incredible record is how good peak Nadal was on grass and hard courts. There were long stretches of his peak when he was the best player on those surfaces, despite Federer and Djokovic being at their best too. During this stretch, Nadal won 2 Wimbledon titles. He would complete the Channel Slam twice, winning the French Open and Wimbledon in the same year, becoming the only player in tennis history to do it multiple times. His dominance on grass during this run of time was such that he won 88% of his matches against top 10 players and defeated the rest of the members of the Big Four 5 times in 6 matches played. And soon enough, he would crack the hard court tennis code as well. He would make at least the semis 8 times in 10 majors played, reaching the final 5 times and winning 3 titles. Interestingly, all 3 of his triumphs would be against either Federer or Djokovic in the final. Additionally, in 2013, he would make even more history by becoming the only player ever to do the US Summer Slam, winning all 3 big tournaments in the US Open Series. The overall win percentage on outdoor hard courts during this run would be more than 84%, despite having to face great hard court players Djokovic, Federer, Murray, and Del Potro every other week. This unique dominance on all 3 surfaces made him achieve the longest all-surface winning streak in 2008 at 32 matches. He won a big title on each surface during that incredible run: Hamburg and Roland Garros on clay, Queens and Wimbledon on grass, and Canada Open on hard courts. He beat Federer in 4 and Djokovic in 3 of the tournaments to do this as well. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. Facing Nadal became such a challenge that he became practically unbeatable in best-of-5 matches, amassing a 128-11 record in that format, a staggering 92%. Nadal reshaped what modern tennis is with his baseline play. He used to systematically break down his opponents. First, he takes your legs, then your soul. Playing a total of 4 complete seasons during this 6-year period, he ended the year-end number 1 3 times: 2008, 2010, and 2013. The 2013 year-end number 1 ceremony, in hindsight, was the perfect coronation for what tennis had witnessed for the past 6 seasons, arguably the highest peak in tennis history. Here are some staggering stats that demonstrate just how dominant Nadal was in his prime between 2008 and 2013. During this period, Nadal held the world #1 ranking for an incredible 56 consecutive weeks, underscoring his consistency and excellence. He won an astonishing 10 Grand Slam titles, showcasing his versatility and skill across all major tournaments. In total, Nadal secured 36 ATP titles, demonstrating his ability to triumph in a variety of competitions. One of the most remarkable aspects of Nadal's prime years was his win percentage in tournaments played, which stood at an impressive 36.1%. This statistic highlights his consistent ability to perform at the highest level, regardless of the competition. Nadal's prowess in Grand Slam tournaments was evident, with 16 semifinal appearances out of 21 attempts. His streak included 5 consecutive semifinal appearances, showcasing his incredible consistency and endurance. When facing the toughest competition, Nadal excelled. He had a winning percentage of 64.5% against top 5 players, and an even more impressive 71% against top 10 players. His dominance was particularly evident in best-of-5 matches, where he achieved a phenomenal win rate of 91.4%. What made peak Nadal so unique and different from his contemporaries was that at no stage of his peak did he have an open window with no other all-time great to challenge him. The rivalry with Federer is what changed tennis. From 2008 to 2013, Nadal and Federer played a total of 18 times, with Nadal winning 14 of them. These included Nadal winning all 5 of their Grand Slam meetings and winning on all sorts of surfaces. The Djokovic duels were more intriguing and unpredictable during this period, both being at their physical and technical best due to their similar ages. They would play an astonishing 31 matches during this 6-season stretch, Nadal edging the head-to-head 16-15. Nadal would win 5 of the 8 Grand Slam matches and also an epic at the Beijing Olympics. The pivotal legacy point of this rivalry during this period would be Nadal winning all of their Roland Garros meetings and also edging Djokovic 2 matches to 1 in their US Open trilogy, essentially defending home turf and conquering enemy territory too. We all now have an idea of the godly numbers, but one question remains. What made peak Nadal so good? And the answer is a never-before-seen mental and physical resilience coupled with the ultimate gift from the tennis gods. Supreme all-shot talent, along with the greatest shot in the game, the Nadal forehand. Rafael Nadal's physical and mental attributes were arguably the highlight of his peak years. His extraordinary fitness level, combined with his relentless work ethic, made him a constant threat on the court from any position. Physically, Nadal was one of the most gifted athletes in tennis history. His speed, agility, and endurance were second to none. He had the uncanny ability to track down every ball, and his footwork was often described as textbook. His muscular frame allowed him to generate powerful shots, especially on his forehand, which was notorious for its heavy spin and penetration from behind the baseline to at the top of the net. But what truly set Nadal apart was his movement on the court. His ability to slide into shots on clay was legendary, and even on hard courts, his ability to position himself for optimal shot-making was remarkable. On a mental level, Nadal's resilience and fighting spirit were perhaps his greatest attributes. Whether he was down a set or a break, Nadal's never-give-up attitude and ability to raise his game when the stakes were highest made him a nightmare for his opponents. His incredible focus allowed him to lock into every match, often turning the momentum in his favor in tight situations. Nadal's self-belief and ability to stay calm under pressure were critical to his success, especially in high-stakes matches. He was the ultimate tennis disciplinarian who believed in a point-by-point approach, not get too high or too low, no matter the stage of the match. What peak Nadal achieved on clay made him have one of the highest peaks in tennis history. You add to that his excellence on grass and hard courts during that period, and you quite simply get the highest tennis peak ever, in the toughest tennis era ever. What we often forget while discussing Nadal's peak is the context of him having 2 all-time greats, one at the end of his peak and the other entering it, to compete with. He reached Mount Everest during the most difficult era of tennis and reached consistency and numbers that were truly remarkable given the circumstances. From 2008 to 2013, Nadal redefined expectations of what it meant to be a complete tennis player. His statistical records, his mental resilience in the face of adversity, and his fierce shots all contributed to his status as one of the greatest athletes the sport has ever seen. Nadal's peak was not just a period of statistical success, but a period during which he reshaped tennis and set new standards of excellence. His legacy, built on his peak years, continues to inspire the next generation of tennis players and fans alike. Peak Rafael Nadal was not just great, he was transcendent. He was not just a star, he was the sun,